And that final step of internalizing the values of the norms of the group into my own values, that takes us into the concept of identity. And identity as an economic phenomenon was pioneered through work by George Akerlof and Rachel Cranton, people I'm very proud to be working with. There's a little book, I think, on our reading list called Identity Economics, which I recommend. But a sense of personal identity, we think of it as the ultimate individual thing, and in one sense it is, but it's a social phenomenon. If you were the only person in the world, a sense of identity would have no meaning. Identity is always a belonging to some group. It's some group characteristic that you attach to yourself. How you define yourself is through a set of characteristics which then situate you in some group or some groups. People have multiple identities. You know, I'm a professor, I'm a father, and so on. So everybody has more than one identity, but all of these identities are social. They're belonging to some class. For me, the class of professors, the class of fathers, and so on. Why are identities so important? It's not just that they're vehicles for this step of internalizing values. It's that identities, in a way, package the three concepts that we've introduced. We've introduced the idea of narratives, and of norms, and of the values that people hold themselves, and identities sort of package those things. They're, as it were, the quanta of our mental world. You've probably come across the idea, the nudge agenda. It's the first interface between economics and psychology. The idea that people are hardwired with biases in decisions, thinking fast, thinking slow, that sort of stuff. And that's been a very fertile, fruitful way of economics learning from psychology, allowing for these hardwired biases in decisions. But what I've been talking about is beyond that nudge agenda. This is the stuff we've been talking about, the norms, the values, the narratives. They're not things that are hardwired as a result of 500,000 years of evolution, which is the nudge account. They're stuff that's, as it were, soft-wired, that differentiates one person from another because we've had different experience in social interaction. And so what's primary in this, as it were, identity economics agenda is not the hardwired biases, it's what's coming through the social interactions we have. And so what's primary is the social networks. The individual is derived from interaction in social networks. So whereas classical economics, the basic building block is the greedy, observant individual, in the sort of economics we're now entering into, social economics, the basic building block is not the individual, it's the social network in which individuals are formed and shaped.